Welcome back to the All Lady Vol Show, brought to you by the Lady Vol Booster Club. If you don't know what the Lady Vol Booster Club is, it's a premier NIL collective for all 9 Lady Vol sports. On the All Lady Vol Show, we're going to be talking to athletes past and present about why the Lady Vol legacy is still alive. If you go to ladyvolboosterclub.com and use the code ALLLadyVols, it will give you 15% off your first month's membership. I feel like this player doesn't need any introduction because if you're a Lady Vol fan, you've been around for a while and you know who this is. But for those who don't know, Jaida Thomas, her jersey's behind us. We're at Orange Mountain Designs if you don't know, if you haven't watched any previous episodes, and it's your stop for all Lady Vol gear. Soccer, golf, tennis, everything. They have it all. They have Jada's jersey. But welcome, Jaida. I'm so glad we were finally able to get you on.
Too.
It's been a work in progress, but obviously you guys are in season.
Yeah.
So how have you been?
I'm good. I'm really good, actually. I'm glad we, are going to the SEC tournament.
I know.
So,
yeah. Last night, the Lady Vol soccer team secured their spot in the SEC tournament by a 1-0 win against Florida. You guys were at Florida. How was that game in the environment? And then I guess that is like playoff feeling already for you guys. If you didn't win, you wouldn't make it in the SEC tournament. So how was the message going into that game, and then how was the game?
Honestly, going into the game, I was like, this is probably like the most nervous I've been going into a game, just because it's like, if we win, obviously our season goes on, but if we lose, like, I'm done with collegiate soccer probably. And so that was like very, very nerve-wracking. Yeah. But honestly, the message was just like go out there and be dogs and just do what we do because we know we're a good team despite our season. And so that kind of was like the message.
Yeah, we'll get into the season and all those things. But do you guys feel like you played like dogs? Like, did you feel that energy? Did you feel something different from maybe previous games going into this one?
I'd say just the confidence. I'd say confidence probably was a lot higher up this game, just because we've like been through so much this season, and then like looking back and seeing things that we have accomplished, and just like, even like the program that we did, just like stuff like that, like hyping each other, hyping each other up. Yeah. So yeah,
the program is like I would say it's like a military vibe. They bring people in. Tennessee softball's done it. I've seen you guys do it maybe 2 times at least. Yes. We've done it. It is some of the hardest 24, 48 hours ever, and I think the end of the day you walk away a much closer team. So I'm sure you guys brought those skills out in the toughest time, which was like yesterday. You talked about the accomplishments of the team, you guys have accomplished so much. But before we really get into the season, I want to talk about your accomplishments, which are pretty phenomenal. The one that is like at the top of my head, the top of the poll, is you have 40 goals on your career, which is 3 away from the Tennessee record. Now that your season's continued, I really hope you can just make it happen, push 3 more goals.
Yeah.
That's like the top. We'll talk about you getting injured last year, but in 2022, I would say 2022 and 2021, like breakout seasons. All SEC first team, all SEC tournament team, community service team. You have multiple accolades for weekly honors. Just all regions, second team, you have so many. I probably would take 15 minutes talking about all of these, but I guess I would ask why Tennessee, and then why Tennessee for as long as you've been here when technically you could have been done or moved on.
Yeah, I'd say the belief that they had in me, that's something that I always say, just because my senior year coming in, I injured myself and coach could have easily cut me off, but he believed in me and kept me on the team. And so honestly, that belief is what's kept me here. And then just what we've done, just my second season playing, we won an SEC championship, SEC tournament championship. Yeah. And so that was just really fun, and I knew we were capable of doing it again. And so that's kind of what's kept me here, and the family aspect of everything too.
That was your redshirt sophomore year. You mentioned you got hurt. So let's do a little timeline recap for people who are watching. 2019, you came in hurt, so you redshirted that season. 2020 was COVID, so you didn't get to play. You had to go home. 2021 is when you guys won SEC tournament, and then so forth. We'll get into the rest. But kind of talk about that 2021 season. That was your first season really playing, and you guys won the tournament. How was that team and that just vibe overall?
Yeah, we had a mix of experience, but yet young players, because I mean, that was my like technically third year, and so I was experienced as far as like being on campus, but like as far as on the field, I was still young.
Yeah.
And so our team was mixed in that sense, but we just really, honestly, we just like kind of went for it. We were definitely like not thought to win that or just be good that year anyway, but we believed in each other and we just like did it, and it was just like that year was like really fun. So
that was earlier in my career, and I remember watching you guys and I was like, man, like I would love to be in that position right now. That is so cool. And the chance that you guys get to go do that thing again, like you know how to do it, especially as a veteran leader. And then kind of as a veteran leader now, this is your 6th year on campus on the team. How have you taken your previous experience and brought it to the team? Like, do you see yourself as that vocal leader or more like a lead by example? Because obviously your leadership is going to make an impact on this program for as long as we'll remember. So kind of what leadership do you bring knowing that you've been here for so long?
I think kind of both. Definitely I'm more quiet. And so leading by example is like easier route for me, I'd say. But and there's some areas where like I have to speak up because like the veteran leadership is just like you can't just like stay silent on this one. And so I think like in certain areas I will have to speak up, and I've done that this season. But definitely leading by example is probably something that I try to do, and hopefully like speaking up and just like helping younger players and being like a mentor, because I mean we do have a lot of young people this year, and so it's nice like getting to be able to like influence them.
Yeah. I would say, Jaida, you're one of the most humble athletes I've met at Tennessee. I don't remember exactly when we met. I might be the year we would. Vault leaders, we were in Vault Leaders together, which is a leadership program on campus for student athletes. We got to go to Rwanda, Africa together that year, and especially in Rwanda, I remember having so many conversations with you. I'm like, she's quiet, but when you talk, you talk. Yeah. But you're just so humble. So I just wanted to know if like you speak up more on the team, or you just kind of had that humble vibe all the way through. But let's go back to that season where you guys won the SEC tournament, and then talk about after that the head coach, Coach Penske, is that his name?
Yeah.
He left and he went to Florida State.
Yeah.
Meaning Coach Kurt, current coach, stepped up from assistant coach to head coach. How was that transition, and like was there any doubt in your mind that maybe you should follow your coach, your previous coach, to his now school, Florida State? Obviously, when you win that much with the coach, it's hard to see them leave in that kind of breakup, I would say. So how was that time in that transition?
Yeah, it was really hard when he told us, like, we didn't believe him, but he was, like, serious. And so that was just, like, hard in itself. And just, like, the unknown, like, oh, gosh, who's going to be our coach next? And we weren't really sure if they were going to hire, like, obviously an assistant coach or hire someone outside. And so we were just hoping and praying that it would be one of the assistant coaches, and it ended up being Joe, which we're very happy about. And I think because of that, like, that the next year our entire team stayed together. And so that just shows, like, we were committed to it and we wanted to stay together, obviously. But I think definitely there was, like, thoughts of, like, oh gosh, like, do I stay or do I go? Especially, like, in the period of, like, not knowing who our coach was.
Exactly.
So that made it a little harder.
Yeah. And that next year with Coach Kurt, you guys won the SEC East. Soccer's divided, right? West and East. I think
not
you guys,
this year, but it was.
It was before Oklahoma and Texas came in. So you guys had a great, successful year. That was 2022. Then 2023, you got injured beginning of the season. You tore your ACL. We know that you came in hurt from high school season into your freshman year. So 2 ACLs, right? How was that 2023 year, which was your redshirt senior year already? You got hurt. Why did you come back? Like, you could have easily been like, all right, I've had enough. I've torn 2 ACLs or 3 ACLs total. Yeah. Like, what was that drive to come back and kind of take me through 2023?
So my plan was 2023, like, have a great season, go to play pro, be in the draft in January, and then try out for a team, obviously. And so whenever I hurt my knee, like, that was really heartbreaking because I was like, dang, like, I'm not going to be able to, like, try out for a team or play at all. And so I think that's what brought me back, like, knowing that I had that desire, and hopefully like I'd come back good to be able to play another season here, just because obviously pro, nothing's guaranteed. And so I kind of just took the safe route and was like, let me just come back for another year and take advantage of like the resources I have here, and just see how the rehab process went, because obviously you never know like how that will go. And so
compared to you've torn this, the previous one was your left ACL. You said you came in hurt from your right ACL. Do you see any differences from one surgery to the next? Was this one harder to come back from?
Yes, definitely. This one was the hardest. I used like a piece of my hamstring to like fix use it as a graft, and so that was different for me. Still like it's a lot better now, but like even like at 10 months post-op, like I'm still not feeling right. And so definitely harder. And still I feel like I'm not like my true like what I was before. And so it just like is really weird to like see like how like different like different grafts how it plays.
Where did the other graft come from? I know it's
patella.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, so I did both patellas on my right twice, and so this was like my first hamstring graft, and I was like, oh, this is different. Yeah.
Well, I'm so glad you like conquered another obstacle. Obviously 3 ACLs is something that like I can't even think about overcoming, let alone one. And I know that's probably been something you've been struggling with this entire season. You haven't played as much in previous years. Obviously, with 40 goals under your belt in your career, you are playing a ton. So this 2024 season, how has it been for you physically, mentally, from your side of things? We'll get into the team, but just battling from injury and then coming back from it.
Yeah, physically, I think it was really hard. I mean, it still is hard sometimes. Just like my speed, like being like, oh, I'm not as fast as I used to be, or just like different movements. Like it's just like everything's just so different. And so I think physically, it's like realizing that you might not feel like you used to feel. And then mentally, I'd say it was really hard. It still is hard now, but like continuing to just lean on the Lord, I think, in this season, because like obviously, like you said, like haven't been playing as much this year, and so that's just like unfortunate, and it sucks sometimes, but like I'm still having to like be a light on my team and show up each day, because like I mean you just got to do that sometimes.
As an athlete, you got to do it. It's never easy. But
so,
you're kind of an inspiration to all, and I hope that, I mean, I know your teammates see it, like you coming back from this, you always being a leader, but also just to Lady Vol fans and even little girls out there, like you being here for so long and like wearing the Lady Vol logo with pride, and like, I don't know, you've done a lot. Like I said, Vol leaders, you're involved with 110 and just your faith heavily. You're just a leader overall.
Thanks.
And I will say also, as a person of color, like you're inspiring all the little girls at the games that might look like you as well. So just, I'm just so excited for you, and I'm proud of you, and you're doing so much more than you probably think you're doing because you're not playing as much. Along with your mental and physical battles this season, the team hasn't had its most success compared to your previous seasons. Kind of walk us through how this season has been from a team perspective, maybe some of the struggles that you guys have had, and then how you're overcoming them. Because obviously you're overcoming some to have been able to clinch that spot in the SEC tournament.
So I'd say coming in, I wasn't really sure how the team was going to be like, just because we have a lot of new people. And so I think that's probably was our struggle the most in the beginning of the year, and I do think like different things we did for team chemistry like definitely was beneficial, but still it still is hard like on the field. It's kind of like we're step behind a little bit, because we gained like I don't know, maybe like 15 people like,
and was that
just in the fall.
Transfer portal or
freshman mixed with transfer portal.
Okay, gotcha.
We had 4 transfers come in the fall, and then the rest were freshmen.
Okay.
And so just that dynamic was really hard. And so I think just continuing to, like, for me at least, we're missing, like, a lot of veteran players that have been here. And so I think for me it was, like, really hard. And sometimes it still is hard, just seeing, like, how different the team is, because, I mean, there's a lot of different personalities. And so I think that sometimes is a struggle for me, just understanding that it's not this team that it was last year or the team it was before, and understanding like different individuals, but still capable of doing like what we want to do. And so I think that's probably one of the things, like just continuing to believe in each other, and like that's one thing, like showing each other confidence in what we do, because it's hard.
I think one thing that I wish I knew like my senior season after coming off a successful junior season is like the comparison game, like comparing the team that you have to previous teams. And I'm sure like you having been on a really successful team winning the SEC tournament and winning the SEC East, like you compare it to the team that you're on now, and it just kind of like creates a battle, like are we going to be as good as that team, except for the fact that like you have new personalities, like it's going to be different all the way around. So I think you guys are on the right track though. You got the win last night against Florida. You punched your ticket to Pensacola, Florida for the SEC tournament, but I will say I looked it up and you guys are playing Kentucky, which very familiar with Kentucky, because the previous game before Florida was actually against Kentucky and lost 4-0. So kind of what do you remember from that game that's kind of fresh on your mind that you'll directly take into this SEC tournament?
Yeah, I think executing by scoring. I mean, we haven't been able to score much this season, and so I think going in there, like having that mentality, like we're going to win and we're going to score. Just because, I mean, they weren't anything special where we couldn't beat. We just, our own faults, we allowed it. And so I think going in there and knowing like what we're capable of doing, and I think just being more physical. I mean, SEC is a tough conference, and so I think sometimes we go in a little too soft, and then we're like, we get punched first and we're like, oh shoot. And so I think we got to throw that first punch this time.
You've spent a lot of time here. You've obviously been through a lot. I kind of want to know like what you're going to take away into your what's next, whether that be pro, different career. Like what did you learn from Tennessee that you'll be taking forward?
Ooh, that's a hard one.
I know, I put you on the spot.
Probably never like doubting myself, but also like never doubting others, because I think like even just with the booster club, like the investment they've given me, and the belief that also like just the university has given me, I'm just like one person. And so I think like for me, like wherever I go, just like continuing to believe in myself and know like what I'm capable of, but also just like the people around me, like giving others opportunity and like understanding like, I don't know, just like investing in other people and understanding, like having that volunteer spirit for sure.
Oh, you said it perfectly. That's exactly what I feel like the Lady Vol and volunteer culture is like putting your belief and your faith into other people and like lifting them up too. You already mentioned a little bit the Lady Vol Booster Club. We like to finish out our shows by talking about like what the Lady Vol Booster Club means to us. Obviously, you've been involved with Lady Vol Booster Club heavily. You also have a shirt at Orange Mountain Design, so like, duh. But what does the Lady Vol Booster Club mean to you?
I think I definitely like family and like investment, just because, especially when I got hurt, like, I don't know, I just like felt very like loved and appreciated just with the people that are involved in that. And so that was just like really special, because I was in season and I was like away from my team, but also like family's not here. And so that really like was really awesome last year. Just having that like family atmosphere was really cool. And then just the investment they've given us, it's really awesome, because a lot of times, I mean, women aren't getting invested into. And so it's just like cool that we have like all female collective like this. Is really cool.
You said it perfectly. I don't think I could say it better. Family, like only women's collective for all women's sports. I really appreciate you taking the time. I know you're in like the heart of the season right now, but I also feel so much confidence for you guys going into the SEC tournament, because you've already played one playoff game in reality. Like this is your second one. You have one up on other people. But I appreciate you coming. You've been such an inspiration to me. I remember coming on campus and like on my visits being able to see you or follow Tennessee soccer. So it's just like such a full circle moment. But I wish you the best of luck in the rest of your season, and then hopefully we go pro. We'll see what happens. But thank you so much for coming, Jaida.
Of course. Thank you.